Hi, Akira and Alexandra. Miss Sandra asked me to take your Moldavites through the Moldavite lab that we have over here. And there's three parts to this, and I'll walk through each one of these sections. The section that Miss Sandra likes the most is when we get to the microscope, but we'll get there. But truly what we do is we start over here. So first of all, let me tell you, this special piece is for Akira. And what we do, and then this piece is for Alexandra. And the first thing we do is we look at the color and the texture and the glossiness, and then we can, and that's really what a lot of folks can do. And what we do is we compare it to the texture and glossiness to Moldavite that comes from the same spray field. So we compare it to this. We can also show you what fake Moldavite looks like. So it's a lot more glossy, and this is the China Heineken beer bottle Moldavite.
$5 one.
That's what I call it. But we actually have we've gotten a lot of fake Moldavite on purpose that we can compare and look at. And then we also have all this Moldavite from the same Southern Bohemian spray field. So what we do at this station is we look at color and texture, and these look awesome. And this is something that you guys can do. The next thing we do is we look at the specific gravity, or what we want to call density. So the density is like having two different objects. Like if you had a balloon this size and you had a lead ball this size, the same size, the lead ball is heavier, it's denser, and would weigh a lot more than a balloon the same size. And so that's what we're measuring with this complicated scale right here. We're measuring what's called hydrostatic specific gravity. And fake Moldavite actually has a much different hydrostatic specific gravity. So the first thing we do, than real Moldavite, right? So the first thing we do is we weigh the Moldavite, and this is Alexandra's piece. And it comes out to 8.651 grams. So Alexandra, your Moldavite is 8.651 grams. So we measure it dry. And then what we do, it's a little more difficult to do here.
You want to do hers?
Let's do hers after we get through the microscope. That way it makes it a little bit faster. Okay, so then I take it and I put it on this tray, and I put it back here in this distilled water. And I have to make sure that it's not touching the sides. There we go, looks pretty good. And we reweigh it. Now what it's doing is it's actually weighing the volume of water that was displaced. So that is 4.932. And we do this little calculation, and when we're done with it, it should be, real Moldavite is between 2.27 and 2.46, and it targets around 2.35. And I can tell you, I've measured a lot of fake Moldavite, and they can't get it in that range. Okay, so let me do the calculation real quick. 8.51 minus 0.9. That equals, so the bottom here equals 3.719, and I'm going to divide that 8.651 divided by that. 8.651 divided by 3.719, and that equals 2.32, actually 3.23, but that's okay. And it's just about right on target. But anything between 2.27 and 2.46 in specific gravity or density is real Moldavite. And that's very, very, very difficult for someone to fake. Okay, so that's kind of the stuff that Sandra thinks is boring. I'm going to ask you to dry this off, Sandra, while I put Akira's piece underneath the microscope. So this is the part, Sandra, I'm going to ask you to dry that. This is a binocular microscope that has a camera to it. And what it does is it projects up here on the screen so we can all see what is underneath the microscope up here on the screen. So you see it right there. I'm going to turn the light up a little bit and focus it down. I'll focus it in just a little bit. Oops. There we go. So, Akira, this is yours, and I see some lights reflecting on it right here. Turn it down just a little bit. So this is the surface of your Moldavite, which is kind of interesting. But what we really want to do...
Very cool.
It is kind of cool.
Like an alien...
I'll take a picture of it.
An alien landscape.
There we go. So I hit this button right here, and it takes a picture.
Yeah.
And then I have to... Okay. All right. So, but what we want to do is we want to see deep down inside of here. And to do that, we actually have to polish the surface.
No.
No, Miss Anna never agrees to
You
that.
don't polish it.
She never ever agrees to that. Yes. So what we do is we take this fluid, and this fluid has what's called a refractive index that matches the refractive index of Moldavite. And when I put it on the surface, it actually washes this texture out enough that we can see, we can focus the microscope deep into the inside. So I'm going to put it around here, and you'll see some debris floating around, but we'll get rid of that here in just a little bit. Oh, I got a lot on there. Okay, and you're watching the screen there, Mom?
Mm-hmm.
All right, awesome.
Mom.
Yeah, I know. When you have kids, your vernacular changes. Okay, so there's some debris floating around on here, but now we're going to be able to dive down in and see inside the Moldavite. I'm going to get that a little too bright. I can already see bubbles down inside the Moldavite, but let's go down. Let's zoom down in there, and now we're going to look at a very small section of the Moldavite. We focus in. Okay, so we can see bubbles here and bubbles here. And then you can see some debris floating. That's just stuff that was on the surface. Oh, and look at this. See this right here? And you see this right there? Let me see if I can focus in a little bit further. Whoops. I'm going to move over just a little bit and focus right there. So you see two things. One, I'm getting it all. So all these lines right here, this is stress, okay? But this in here and this over in here, that's those little, what Miss Sandra calls the wigglies. Okay, so the stress lines are when this molten material, this molten glass froze in midair. So imagine this, the meteorite's coming in and it hits into Germany, and all this debris spews up into the air towards the Czech Republic and Austria, on top of Austria and the bottom of Czech Republic. And as it's going through the air, it's freezing and it's locking in this stress. But it's also capturing all these air bubbles. There's air bubbles up here too. It's capturing all these bubbles and it's locking them in place too. Some of these bubbles actually, sorry about that. We'll refocus here just a second. I was trying to get to this right here. Okay, so you see stress in there, and then you're going to see
like strings.
Yeah, these little worm-like strings. Oh, look, see it right there? Right there? See that? See this worm-like string right there?
That's a good one.
Yeah, that is, you know, I have never seen anybody be able to fake that in Moldavite, and there as well. And then some bubbles are elongated and some bubbles are round. And let me just tell you that if you took a balloon, a round balloon, that's blown up to about this size, and you stretched it, what happens when you let go? It wants to come back to round, okay? That's its zero energy state, okay? It has a lower energy at this end. So when you stretch it, so when these air bubbles that you see in here that are stretched, they got locked in place when they were still stretched out. And the round ones got to come back to this lower energy state while it was, before it froze in place. But look at that. I hope I can focus in a little bit better on that. So a lot of times when they're so full of stress, you have a hard time finding those. Okay, so we can move this around. And, oops, going the wrong way. I know I'm making you maybe a little sick there.
Backwards and upside down and...
Okay, so you can see stress lines, you can see bubbles, big bubble over there. Wow, look at that size of that bubble over there. Okay, so what I can do is I can actually keep focusing in. You can see the bubble kind of go away a little bit. That's because I'm on the other surface. And now we're seeing the stress inside of there. Okay, so let's just go back and focus through that bubble. And now that bubble comes up. So there's bubbles throughout this whole thing, and this microscope allows you to focus in on it. And what we did, remember, is we washed that texture off with this fluid, this refractive index fluid. I'm going to give this to Miss Sandra to clean up after we're done here. Now we're going to put Alexandra's piece up on here. This is a nice piece. Look at that. Isn't that really cool? So we got a nice big piece here for Alexandra and a very kind of dainty piece here for Akira. What a cool name. Isn't that a cool name?
It is.
Okay, so let's do the same thing here. Let me get it underneath the microscope properly. I'm going to focus out all the way, and we'll see the surface so I can find it correctly. Turn the light up a little bit. And focus on the Moldavite. Oh, I can already see some bubbles in there. Isn't that kind of cool?
Wow, it's really textured.
It is really textured. It's a really kind of cool piece of Moldavite. There's another bubble right there.
It's a nice piece.
It is a cool piece. I can see stress in here already. But again, this is the surface. So now we're going to put this refractive index fluid on here. And we're going to wash that surface off.
It's like when something's shiny when it's wet.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. That's actually how, if you have a matte textured, like if you had a glass that was textured, you could do the same thing with it. Wow, look at that. What a cool piece. I haven't even focused down in on that yet. So look at all those bubbles.
Take a picture there.
Oh yeah, okay. I do forget to take pictures. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we didn't get the picture of the...
I know. I'll go back and get another one for her. Okay, so let's zoom down in. And then I'll refocus down in. Wow. Now, again, there's some debris moving around. There's some debris moving around, but yes, those bubbles are inside of there. Isn't that kind of cool? Wow, look at that. And so, again, as I focus, I can focus deeper and deeper inside of there, and you'll see other bubbles pop up. But there's all kinds of really high...
I wonder what it means.
So look at all of the inclusions inside of here, babe. This is a really, really cool piece. And a lot of stress in here. So this thing locked in a lot of stress when it was in a very high energy state, flying through the air. That's really, really cool. Let me go a little further in. Sometimes when you go in so far, you actually you're overwhelmed by the stress. Hold on, by seeing only stress. That's what's gonna happen here. We're gonna get so tight. Okay, check that out.
That's another picture.
Isn't that cool? Okay, I'll snap a picture. Hold on. Look at that piece. Look at the size of that bubble. Okay.
Some unusual formations,
and now we're
like down in here and stuff. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
This one has and now we're in a very tiny we're focused in on a very tiny section. Oops, I gotta get back on the camera. See, these tabs are the pictures I took. Let me go back to video right here. So I moved it just a little bit. Oh, check that out. Oh no, sorry. I'm used to looking at these, so I see these contaminants.
There they are.
Yeah, I see them really easily. All this white stuff here is that light in the background that we're trying to use so we can videotape. And then there's debris that's moving on the surface. That's because that fluid I put in there is washing some of the dirt and debris that always kind of remains on there.
Even though they're clean.
I know. I don't mean to say that you're not doing your job, babe. I know you are. Wow, look at that. So I can focus in and out of those. Look at those. Those are really cool bubbles. So I know I'm making a Netflix video again. I'll take a picture of this one too. Well, Akira and Alexandra, I will give these to Miss Sandra, and on her next trip to, where are you going next? Are you going to Sedona? Are you going to Ventana Canyon? Or are you going to?
I haven't decided yet.
Okay. Well, on her trip, wherever she goes, she will create your really cool pendant. This pendant is for someone else. That's a Moldavite Herkimer that we're going to put under the scope here as well for someone else. Akira, I hope you just love it. It's very, very cool. Very cool. Miss Sandra will clean these up. Here you go, babe.